It's no judgment, right? I'm making this so that people can see that there's no reason for you to judge anyone when you tell your story. It's only about you, right? And what you went through and how you can help other people. So I'm coming forth today to share this story so that other people can understand how an ego can make you get into dangerous things. When I was young, I would be bullied. And it's because I was the only child. And also I cried a lot when I was a child. I cried a lot because I was going through things, and I realized that now as an adult that I was in a trauma state being with the parents that I had. So now I know that I understand and I understand why I would cry so much. But because I cried a lot, my cousins would bully me. Now, no shade to them because they were being kids. It's just a kid thing most times. This is what kids do. They bully children sometimes. Now, I blame the adults because the adults should have stopped it, but they didn't. Nevertheless, when that happens to you when you are young, you grow up and you start to have a defensive attitude towards people, places, and things. And for me, being in an environment with people who were dangerous and then being bullied, it made me like a volcano, right? And that's a dangerous paradigm. That's why I speak about ego. Well, after being bullied as a child, fast forward, I moved to an area in West Philly I didn't want to live in, just to be clear. My mother had lost her place. It's a whole nother story. So we had to move in with my mother's in-laws. And in that particular area, there was someone who was bullying me. They bullied me. And this particular person bullied me so much that one day they threw a chicken bone at me. And I told my father. And my father was angry because he didn't understand why this person was messing with me. So what he instructed me to do is to get a weapon to stab that person. I'm just being honest. It is what it is. He was who he is, who he was and who he is through me. But that was how he felt that I would stop this person from bothering me. Now, he also told me in that instance that don't worry about going to prison. Don't worry about going to juvie or anything because I'm going to come and get you. Now, having seen him do so many things when I was a child, much younger than 14. Remember, a child's ego is gauged between 0 and 8. That is what a psychologist says. I didn't say that. That is not my determination. And after from 0 to 8, with these parents that I had, I saw so much violence. By the time I got 14, I wasn't for it. And my father knew that. And so did my mother. So when the person did something to me and we were outside playing and I chased that person with a knife. Now, my intuition, which was planted by my mother, stopped me from chasing that person. It wasn't that he was faster than me. I realize that now as an adult. It had nothing to do with it. It was my intuition that stopped me, not my ego. He called me everything in the book, called me all kinds of bitches and everything. The people on the block, they understood. They saw what happened. His family was probably they were in their feelings. But see, what they didn't know is my origin. They saw me as somebody that was an easy target. And that's why I try to explain to people, when you are in your ego and you start judging people and you look at them and you say, oh, that's an easy target. You don't know who you're dealing with. You never know who you're dealing with. You never know their story. You never know their origin. And for me to be able to still get up and go to school after trying to stab someone, that alone shows you that a lot of children and a lot of people who live in this type of trauma, what type of paradigm they end up in. Some of them end up going to prison. I chose not to. That's why I stay in the light. That's why I do what I do. That's why I move around and I don't like confrontation. I move away from people because knowing that that was a trigger for me, my father switched that trigger right on because he understood that he had embedded this in me. And he didn't want me to fear anyone. And I still don't. because we are all human. I am me. You are you. But knowing that you can teach a child to defend themselves in that way is a very dangerous thing. And my father did not care, because all he saw is that someone was bullying his child. And after that, after he did that and told me what he told me, I started beating bullies up. But the people who were in that neighborhood, they utilized that to their benefit, because what they started doing is they saw that I was a fighter, and so they wouldn't encourage me to fight people that they wouldn't. You see how you become a puppet when you are in your ego? My father switched that switch on, told me to stab this person, and I went after him. And then the people who watched me do that utilized me in ways that they wouldn't have been able to do had he not stoked my ego. Because I fight for me, I don't fight for other people anymore. And I shouldn't have been doing it then. That was my fault. But also, once again, my father came in and told those folks in the neighborhood that's not going to keep happening. You're going to stop using my daughter in that way. I was fortunate. Some children are not. They don't have parents that can come in and save them. So they end up in this survival paradigm for the rest of their life, because they're stuck in their trauma and they don't go back and get themselves. That's why I told you all I had to go and find myself. I had to go and find myself. Now, that 14-year-old self, she's still with me. She's never left. The only difference is my intuition kicks in. But I do have PTSD from being in that type of environment. And I will defend myself because it's in me. And people misunderstand that. They misunderstand that. I have had to live in some very harsh environments that a lot of people who get in my DM, for instance, today,